Right, thank you, Sandy, and a very good afternoon, everyone. The Brisbane Bears lined up against North at the MCG this afternoon, fresh from their meritorious 49-point win over Fitzroy last Sunday at Carrara. Away from home, though, they've not been as threatening. Their 3 wins this year have all been up north. And speaking of such, North did beat them by 18 points on the Gold Coast way back in round 3. Of the Roos, they have bounced back after losing 6 in a row, have now won 3 on end and indeed 5 out of their last 6. Interestingly too, those 3 wins have all been at the cricket ground, and this afternoon's clash was their 4th match there in succession. Our commentators today, Bruce McAvaney, Ian Robertson and Bernie Quinlan, and we pick up play with some 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The scores are 1-3 apiece.
Goal's pretty hard to get in this first quarter. Brayshaw goes very short to Smith. Gains about 10 metres. Smith's drop punt gets some distance on that half-back flank. O'Keefe, left foot, Pickering, trapped it pretty well. And then around his body, Bain, who's been very active, as we've mentioned a couple of times. O'Keefe, will it sit for him? Brayshaw with him, and also Smith. He's outnumbered about 4-1. Umpire letting it go through. Gallagher trying to get it on. It'll be a free kick to Brisbane, and the advantage will be paid. Bain gets another kick, but that goes straight up in the air. Bryce underneath it, McIver. With him, Windsor. Windsor snapped round his body, and Kappa. I think he was almost going to go off and kick the goal then, Ian, but he decided to go back over the mark.
Well, what did you think about the contest, Bernie?
I thought, well, Michael Martin was asking about the push-out, and Warwick Kappa certainly put the hands on Mick Martin's shoulders. There could have been a little nudge there.
So Kappa, from point-blank range, kicks a goal for the Bears.
And a Brisbane lead, 2-3 to 1-3.
He's playing a lot better, Warwick Kappa, actually, the last couple of weeks against Fitzroy. Kicked 4 goals. Led with some confidence in the first half until they put Gary Pert on him. And it's good to see him back. He's still not leading as strongly as he should be when he has the opportunities, but at least he's back there and kicking a few goals.
So the Bears have started reasonably well in this game that I think most of the media would have considered a walk-up start for North Melbourne. Gallagher kicks it high. It doesn't really go all that closer to the North Melbourne goal. Comes back to Bryce, who's had quite a few possessions. Nearly trapped by Allison, but Gastev, he only had one thing as his object, and that was the footy, and the pass is a beauty. He finds Ashcroft at centre-half forward. Short again, Richardson could have nearly run on, but then would have been under enormous pressure.
I thought about it, Robbo.
Yes, but settling maybe. He's got a chance. He's going for the pass again. Loose player. It's Bain. Bad checking by North Melbourne.
Well, the rover running down into the forward line. It's Romero's man. He's very slow getting back there.
And I reckon this guy's pretty fit, Bernie. He seems to cover enormous territory.
He's a tremendous little player. He never stops running. He's always giving a contest.
So David Bain from 35 directly in front, and he doesn't miss that. Bain gets the 3rd goal for the Bears. They're 3-3, leading North Melbourne 1-3.
Well, a lot of people today thought this would have been a cakewalk for the North Melbourne side after their excellent recent form. But the Brisbane Bears have found a bit of spirit over the last couple of weeks, and there's one player, Mike Richardson, who's really lifted. He's played tremendous football across the centre line for the Brisbane Bears, and David Bain, a real goer.
So the Bears by 12 points, 21 to 9. Gallagher doing the ruck work for North Melbourne, and Edwards for Brisbane. Gallagher clearly, but Bain again, who's had 8 kicks and 5 handballs, and O'Keefe takes a strong mark in front of Smith. So Brisbane right on top at the moment, a couple of goals in front. Kappa's in the square, Martin about 15 metres in front of him and just waiting for a late lead. O'Keefe, drop punt. Hardy uses his experience to push Chandler out and gives away a free kick. Well, I guess it's experience, is that what it's called, Bernie?
Well, he's a very cagey player, Brad Hardy. He often does nudge a player out of position.
Pickering after Chandler's foot pass was okay. High ball to centre wing. Carey in the front spot. Leslie did well at the back. Roberts. Richardson's been busy in his 150th. Nice kick to centre half forward. And Brisbane doing pretty well. Reynoldson. Long way out. Drop punt. Cap at the target with Martin. Cap at the back. Chandler. Quick kick back. Gastev. Didn't get a great bounce, but he did very well, Gastev, and then chips it to Hardy. Well, there's a lot of holes there for North Melbourne, Bernie.
Beautiful play there by Johnny Gastev, coming off the half-back line. He did it last week. He put Brisbane Bears into attack on so many occasions, and he's doing it again today. Already had 9 possessions. And Brad Hardy kicked 5 goals last week and also 3 posters.
Well, I won't put the mocker on him this time because he kicked the ball out of bounds the last time I said he's pretty safe. Drop punt. And he's put one through. So Brisbane go to 4-3 to 1-3. Hardy gets his first.
Well, not the start North Melbourne would have liked, because once the Brisbane Bears get a bit of confidence up, they are a team who can move the ball very well, as they are doing today. They're winning the ball out of the centre. Bain's been magnificent. Scott McIver playing around the middle of the ground. And Brad Edwards, Steve Reynoldson only playing his 5th game for the season. I don't know how he's ever out of the side, because he's a very good player around the ground as well.
And great to see Brad Hardy run all the way up the field and just give John Gastev a pat on the backside to say he appreciated that effort. North Melbourne clear through Schwass, but the kick lands in the safe arms of Gastev. He gets the hand pass away to young Kennedy. Kennedy's handball is long. Well, the Shepherd was nearly on for Leslie, but he missed the player. He has to go back now and apply the tackle on Carey. He runs that player down. The Bears are going to get clear again. It's Wern's handball a little too high there, but now Windsor is in the game, and he's given away the free kick on Scholl. Scholl, plenty of calling from his North Melbourne teammates, but he goes for the high kick and holds up. Oh, could have nearly taken the mark. Edwards leaves it. Smith, handball. Who's there? Gastev. Withers. Opportunity for Gibson. Goes back to Gastev. Gastev now kicks the ball long to half forward. Hardy there. Ball comes back. Richardson taps it towards O'Keefe. O'Keefe gathers. Handball over the top. Here's a goal to Reynoldson. It's another one to the Bears.
Hello. Among the stories coming up in 7 Nightly News at 6 o'clock, threats of legal action as Pentridge inmates spend a 3rd day locked in their cells. Predictions that home loan interest rates won't drop this year. A 4-year-old deaf boy missing in the Barossa Valley found safe and well. And as a flat Greg Norman plummets, Ian Baker Finch soars into British Open contention. Details after the football replay. Please join me then.
6 o'clock weeknights, 7 Nightly News with Jennifer Kite.
McEwen's Big League bargains are hotting up. High prices have come a cropper. Ironing is easier with a Hills Bell ironing table with convenient cord minder and handy iron stand. At only $34.99, you'll save a big $10. Save $20 on Hills' new model folder line hoist. Now fully pre-wired, the folder line takes minutes to assemble and holds the biggest wash load. It's easily folded and removed to give you back your garden space. At only $189, it's a steal. So head into McEwen's today for high-flying savings on Big League bargains store-wide.
Some people seem to have an inflated idea of how good their light truck deals are. But now Ford dealers are putting the squeeze on them. Thanks to big factory bonuses, you can now put your name on an Econovan very economically. Or get down to work with a great deal on a tough Courier 4x2. So head down to your Ford dealer soon. He's determined to blow the competition away.
Well, Dipper, what would you recommend?
Quattro venti.
Quattro what?
Tender piping hot meat, bathed in a delicately spiced, exquisite gravy, then encased in a golden pastry envelope.
It's true.
More 4 and 20s, Maestro. Going right up. Quattro venti.
4 and 20. Ripper, Dipper. Oi, can we see the beer list?
No worries.
4 and 20. The great Australian taste.
To celebrate 25 years of Van Morrison's music, Polydor proudly presents the best of Van Morrison. The best of Van Morrison, his greatest and his latest, strictly for music lovers.
In 1873, an Australian company started with a vision. A
vision that has seen it evolve into a diverse financial force with $8 billion worth of assets worldwide. Today, it is the Colonial Mutual Group, a modern international company that, like few others, comes from a position of strength. The Colonial Mutual Group, building on strength.
Matthew Larkin was a late withdrawal from the North Melbourne side. His place in the team was taken by Scholl, and the Bears taken full advantage to lead by 4 goals at the first change. Let's go back to the MCG now, and we pick up play at the start of the second term.
Start of the second term, North Melbourne trail by 4 goals in a big surprise here. Brisbane with 5 goals in the first term, North Melbourne kicking to right of screen. And Brisbane has really made a positive start to this game. Gibson's long kick to the goal square. Will that go through? Martin did a good job in the end, getting back on it and able to fist it through for behind.
Well, they look a bit shell-shocked, don't they, Bruce, at the moment? North Melbourne, they don't know what to do. Good play by Gibson charging through the centre square there. May have even been able to kick on his right foot. A couple more paces may have made all the difference there.
Martin kick, gets some distance. This breeze a bit fluky today because at both ends, you're able to get some distance with the footy. Smith able to crash his way through, but Hardy, handball wide. Brayshaw off one leg in the end, gets a bit of distance. Gazdev, who was probably the most effective player on the ground in the first term, and with Bain was the big kick getter. He's kicked to the 50-metre line. Brayshaw with the sit, goes for safety. German. Stevens, North Melbourne, pretty slow, setting it up now fairly. Edwards able to get in the way there of Pickering. Oh, gee, Windsor gave it away a bit too easily there. And Chandler's kick, and North Melbourne now into attack to centre-half forward. Schwass almost went through with it. Didn't. Brisbane able to hold it up there, the Bears. And North about 50 metres away, and it'll be a bounce down.
So they messed that up, didn't they, really? One of those big guys should have taken that mark.
Yeah, two players in front, and they couldn't hold it, Robbo.
Now an opportunity through Pickering, the kick towards full forward, mark to McCarthy.
Another little nudge out by McCarthy. Probably good use of the body in the end.
Well, young Kennedy is still in the learning process of AFL football, so another game today will be good for him. John McCarthy. He's kicking from about 25 metres out, slight angle, and he puts it straight through the centre. Applause from the North Melbourne fans has been few and far between, really. They've only kicked 2 goals, their first through John Longmire early in the first quarter, and then that one from John McCarthy. 2-3 plays 5-4.
The trouble at the moment, they're not winning the ball out of the centre of the ground. Bain has been excellent, and Brad Edwards has contested very well in the ruck. Scott McIver, also Mark Roberts, and Mike Richardson and John Gastev have been excellent running the ball out of the back line.
2-3-5-4. Romero now manning up with Bain in the centre, trying to upset him. Bain having an excellent first quarter. Edwards did pretty well after Leslie's handball was just a hopeful one. Now Romero, Gastev at the back. McCarthy, who's a very exciting player. Schwass in trouble. Tackle was a bit high, but gone for holding the ball. Well, the initial tackle was a bit high, but he did have plenty of time. And Gibson has been pretty good today. Bain keeps running from half-back. Hepburn out of position in the end, and O'Keefe takes a good mark. He had also a promising first quarter. Sweeps a long handball into Gibson in the centre, who's had some touches. He's had a lot of mates. Martin, a strong mark. Kappa goes with him. Martin handballs to the space. Leslie and Martin, a couple of the strong players in the AFL together. Still Leslie. Roberts with a hip and shoulder helps him out. But in the end, Leslie unable to keep it in play. Some good fair football there. Good contest.
Boundary throw in, left half forward for the Brisbane Bears. Edwards out of position. Gets it back. Romero didn't really have the football. The advantage has been paid. German kicks North Melbourne to centre half forward. But he looked as though he picked Johnny Gastev out there with the pass. Gastev's short kick into the centre. McIver's on his own. McIver's got plenty of time to settle and deliver the ball towards full forward, but the mark is taken by Bryce. Bryce for North Melbourne. Long kick with the left. Slews off the side of his boot that's out on the full. Well, that's bad stuff coming from a senior AFL player. Shocking kick there. And the ball with Windsor. Windsor's kick towards centre-half forward. No mark, or it goes straight through Ashcroft's legs. In there for North Melbourne is Scholl. And it's not Scholl, it's Brayshaw, actually. And the umpire will bounce. Well within scoring distance for the Bears. They played very well in the first term to get 5 goals on the board. And out of that ball up, umpire indicating that the Bears player, Robertson, doing some shepherding. So the free kick will go to Mark Hepburn. Mark Hepburn playing his 50th game today for North Melbourne. Has been a good young player. And they'll be looking at big things for him over the next 5 or 6, 7 years. Great mark taken there by Carey. Gets the handball away. A kick by Dwyer, who's now on the ground for North Melbourne. Zanotti, tackled well. Longmire gets his foot to the ball. Smith. Acrobatic Sean Smith, if I remember correctly, took one of the marks of the year. About, what, 2 years ago, Bernie would have been?
Yeah, that's right, Robbo. A real spring-heeled jack is Sean Smith. Not a tall player, but for his size, an excellent high mark.
Only a youngster as well. The average age of North Melbourne is around about 21 or 22. Got a lot of youngsters, and the future looks pretty bright. But this afternoon, they're having their problems with the Brisbane Bears. Sean Smith for North Melbourne's 3rd goal. It looks pretty good from here. It's a goal. Sean Smith kicks his first, and North Melbourne get their 3rd. Bears 5-4, lead North 3-3.
Yes, they're trying to get some run into their side, North Melbourne, but a lot of their handballers come unstuck. Carey doing well at centre-half forward, a big strong mark over the top of Leslie. And it's the only way to get the game moving quickly, which they did. Got it up to the forward line, and maybe a lucky mark there in the end to Smith.
3-3-5-4, couple of goals to North Melbourne in the opening 6 minutes of this second quarter by McCarthy and Smith. And they're back within touch. Gibson's handball. Robertson. Awkward looking kick. Hardy. Always very clever with Chandler. Chandler stays with him. Aussie leg. Hardy able to get it out. Ashcroft comes through. And just misses. Would have been a handy one, that one. Kicked a nice goal in the first quarter, Marcus Ashcroft. 3-3-5-5. Chandler just chips it over to Martin. So both teams playing this very short ball from full-back. Bryce back to Chandler. Smith, I should say. High one. Schwass. Gastev. Free kick to North Melbourne. Interference. And the ball 5 metres away, not going for the footy. And Schwass to take it from centre wing. So they trail by 14 points against the team who's right down on the bottom of the table. Pickering. Quick kick. Richardson with plenty of time. Didn't take the mark. Gastev missed it. Stevens round his body to the goal square. McCarthy there, also Kennedy. Kennedy going to the safety of the line. And he finds it. The 20-year-old who's doing a pretty good job back there.
Right forward pocket for North Melbourne. Boundary throw in. Longmire doing the ruck work, up over the top. Now Bain, tackled by Carey. Withers, dispossessed by German. German, hook kick, goes back to the front of the goal. Zanotti gets back there. Kennedy there, good tackle there by McCarthy. Still the Bears may get clear. Zanotti fumbles and now hurries it through. Or did he hit the behind post with the football? No. He went through the behinds, so it's a rushed score for North Melbourne. 3-4 North, 5-5 Brisbane. Withers, with just under 18 minutes left, kicks the ball back into this member's pocket. No mark taken by German. He really thought it was his, I guess.
Well, why wasn't it?
The concentration, well, I think he dropped it. I think it fell off his tummy and hit the turf. Umpire was in a good position there. We've got umpires Brian Sheehan and Mike Snedden in control. And Roberts clears back in towards the centre. No one there for the Bears. Bryce marks and will kick North Melbourne back into attack.
Kicks to half forward, had a couple of options there. Schwass, who's slipped about 10 times, I reckon, so far today. He's kicked to the goal square. Zanotti in the front spot. Romero with a chance. High tackle will be a free kick. against Bain.
They're playing with a lot more spirit now, North Melbourne. Jose Romero put his body in and got to the ball first after it hit the deck. And they're starting to win the ball around the middle of the ground.
It was a poor effort there by Bain, really.
Yeah, pretty loose when Romero's 20 metres out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an area of discipline that has to be controlled.
Well, Romero, the 18-year-old, from 20 metres out, drop punt through the middle. So North up to 4-4. Brisbane 5-5. Romero gets his first.
What are they doing? Homework.
We've got to do something about this.
We're always juggling money from one account to another.
Looks complicated.
Well, maybe you've got too many accounts.
Maybe you're right.
To help you make the most of your money, we've made it simpler to choose which accounts you really need. Because at Westpac, we believe the way you bank has a lot to do with the way you live.
I think we can manage that. You can bank on us.
Tropical longs really fit your rear.
That man has an interesting past. I've been admiring it.
Sit where you sit and not too dear.
It's either his girlfriend or he has a beautiful mum. Nice and neat.
Summer ones, winter ones, new each year.
That's a nifty pair of glasses. Cute.
A look you can live in that fits your rear.
Do you ever look at their faces? Cases? Who cares about their luggage?
Tropical longs by King G.
There's something else very, very important you should know about Kellogg's Balanced Oat Bran. Vital information. It's absolutely delicious hot.
Oh, Mom. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Sorry, Mom.
Every day in a million ways, every home needs Harpic to keep your loo clean, fresh and blue. Every home needs Harpic. Every day in a million ways, every home needs Harpic to keep your loo clean, fresh and blue. Every home needs Harpic.
Oops. Oh no.
Every day in a million ways, every home needs Harpic to keep your loo clean, fresh and blue. Every home needs Harpic.
If you need to replace a muffler, you might as well be demanding. For July only, Midas are dropping 25% off the price of 30 of our most popular mufflers. Hurry, 25% off now, because you might as well have the best.
The timeless romance, the marvellous music of Roger and Hammerstein's Academy Award-winning South Pacific Friday.
Next on Hinch.
Every parent's nightmare, the abduction and murder of a child.
Every Sunday, the family visits Lauren's grave. It's become a ritual.
There's never a day goes by when I don't think of her. I think of her every day.
A mother's grief, next on Hinch.
Taylor doing the ruck work. Over the top, Bryce. Big punch at clean bowls Richardson. Goes outside 50. McIver 1-on-4. Pickering, Scholl, Smith combine well. North Melbourne out of trouble. Up towards half forward. Bears get back. A free kick to Carey. Leslie not happy. Umpire Sheehan a long way from the action. The kick looking for Romero. Reynoldsson bumps that player out of it. Zanotti, good desperate stuff. Doing pretty well on Longmire. Withers in the back pocket. Will clear for the Bears. Shepherd by Roberts. Could have nearly been penalised. Kick falls in short. Kick off the ground by Smith. Fortunately goes to Schwass. He's going to be caught. Still goes back and gets the footy. Still got the footy. Tempted to break clear. Now Withers. Handball. McIver. Bears can make something of this. The kick towards full forward. Hardy. Kappa now with Martin. Kappa tackles Martin. Ball runs free. Ashcroft. You've got the footy. You're caught. You're gone. Free kick to go to Michael Martin. The North Melbourne desperado at full back. Geez, a hard player to get kicks on. And he kicks it clear to the wing.
Mark paid there to Roberts.
Yes, good effort, Mark Roberts.
Had enough of it, didn't he? Gee, I like that, Robert. You've got the footing. You better get rid of it or else you're gone. Poor Ashcroft. Anyway, Roberts to the space. Bain. Well, he couldn't break the tackle there of Hepburn. He's still back on it, Bain. Schwash gets into his back a bit and now wants to have him for holding the ball. Nothing happening. It'll be a ball up.
He's sitting right in the middle of his back.
Now free kick.
Well, I agree with that too, because Schwass was just laying right in the middle of his back. David Bain making the play. All you have to do is lean over and hold his Guernsey, not sit in the middle of his back.
But it wasn't the original decision. He's kicked to the centre. Reynoldson. High kick. Capper will set himself, but doesn't go for it in the end. Thumped away by Bryce. And Brisbane really want a goal here, Bernie, because they've done a bit of attacking in the last 2 or 3 minutes, stopped North Melbourne, and they want to get something on the board for it.
I was going to say, when he got his kicks last week, Capper, he led, and they kicked it to him. He's just trying to get specky marks.
Well, that's what he fell into last year, and that's why he was a poor player for the Bears for a couple of seasons. He certainly needs to run and jump at the ball, not stay behind the pack.
A crude effort to stop Martin from getting the ball clear. A punch in the head, and Martin will take the free kick at full-back.
A punch in the head, Robbo.
Well, he's got a pretty hard one at that. He just shook it, got up and kicked it wide to Dwyer. Dwyer's handball over the top. Stevens just on the other side of the wing. The kick goes to half forward, close to the boundary line. It goes over. Well, you call it as you see it, don't you? What did you think it was?
Well, I'm going along with you. I always agree with you. You know that.
I think he's a pretty tough player, Michael Martin. He cops it and he gets after it. He dishes it out, but he has a bit of a go for his side. Reynoldson, Romero, Roberts just feeds it out beautifully to McIver. McIver's high kick back towards the wing. No mark taken. Oh, O'Keefe nearly grabbed it at a second chance. Kick off the ground goes wide to the half-forward area for North Melbourne, and it goes over in front of Roberts. And Pickering will have a boundary throw in. It's about 2 kicks from North Melbourne's goal, between wing and half-forward, quite near the old practice cricket pitch area. Punch away there for the Bears by Wern. Comes to Roberts, who's playing pretty well again today. But the kick falls in short. The mark is taken by Bryce, who's doing pretty well for North Melbourne. Paul Bryce, he's had 6 kicks and 4 hand passes, and he kicks it back towards half-forward.
Allison's come on for North Melbourne. Anthony Stevens off. Romero had a few more touches. To a bad bounce there for Kennedy. McCarthy should make him pay for it. Drop punt, drills it home. 5-4, 5-6, McCarthy second.
Yes, North Melbourne now right back into this match. Unlucky there for Matthew Kennedy. He was doing the right thing, went out to meet the ball and got an unfavourable bounce, which left it wide open for John McCarthy to race in and kick his second.
Well, perhaps you could call it the luck of the draw there, with the Bears defender attacking the football, but not careful enough on the bounce. Again, North Melbourne will get clear. Schwass tries to send a long one through the big sticks. North Melbourne mark. Certainly a mark to Longmire. Very, very close to the boundary line, up against the behind post. Good hands by John Longmire here. Runs around, hooks the kick, and it looks pretty good. It's a goal. John Longmire gets his second. North Melbourne get their 6th. And they hit the front by 4 points.
Well, good play by Longmire. Took a strong mark on a very tight angle. Probably couldn't get a tighter angle in football than that, right on the boundary line. He took the opportunity to run around quickly, put the ball across his boot, screw it back across his body, and a great goal.
So North Melbourne leading by 4 points. We're past the halfway mark of the second quarter. Longmire has kicked 2, McCarthy has kicked 2. Bears all singles. Ball at half forward, Ashcroft. Handball over the top, McIver. Run down by Dwyer. And he's been penalised, McIver, for not moving the ball on. The free kick will go to David Dwyer. Long one. Goes over the top of Carey and Leslie. Carey able to gather the ball nicely. High kick in towards centre forward. And taking the mark is Romero. And Reynoldsson, the Brisbane Bears player, minding it. Jose Romero usually picks up a lot of possessions in a game of footy. He's had 8 already. And there's a mark to Smith at centre-half forward for North.
Taylor off for Brisbane and Hart coming on in the last minute. North 4 points in front. They've really turned this around in the second term after Brisbane led by 4 goals at the first change. He's 50 metres out, Smith. Drop punt. Hasn't quite made the distance. Longmire in the middle of the pack. Kennedy thumps it away. Allison runs out of bounds. And it'll be a throw in the pocket. Allison, who was on the interchange after quarter time. Wayne Schimmelbusch putting it to Romero at quarter time that he'd given Bain a lot of latitude, and Romero has lifted in that roving department. Gets another kick away. High one. Zanotti and Longmire, and it's a behind. So North Melbourne up to 6-5. Brisbane 5-6. And a North steadying. And they lead by 5 points. About 9 minutes remaining in this first half.
Withers undecided now as to where to go. Then goes to the outer side. Getting in front was Dwyer. And good play by the youngster. The shorts did for Dwyer, but he was able to get the handball away. Still the Bears are in attack. Roberts, handball. Gibson forced to kick quickly. Up to full forward. Windsor. He's got the footy. Handball over the top. Kappa. Martin. Good tackle. Back there Hepburn. He's caught with the footy. Windsor there for the Bears. And another bounce will take place.
Change coming up for North Melbourne. Stevens about to come on. And McCarthy off. Kappa doing the ruck work that time. Now Hardy has had a very quiet day.
He's getting a free there, I think, Bruce. Very lucky too.
Well, that's amazing. That's the same umpire who didn't give the kick to Reynoldsson just a few minutes ago.
So Hardy with a Tiki Touchwood one from about 35 metres.
Interesting short size, Bruce. He looks like he's got bits cut out of the back to accommodate his bulky frame.
Now Hardy
like
lining
that
up.
one.
Special comments from Bernie Quinlan as Hardy from about 35 metres out. Drop punt. Nice kick, just missing, hitting the post. And Schimmelbusch, the coach of North Melbourne, talking to McCarthy on the phone a moment ago. Maybe he didn't like that one-hander either, Bernie.
No, that's all it could be, I think, Bruce.
9-5, 5-8. And Robbo, you get the feeling that unless Brisbane can get up to North Melbourne quickly with the scoring in, they're going to be in trouble in the last term.
Yes, it's a big job for them. They did all right in the first term where they kicked 5 goals, but North are going to stream out of defence. It's Peter German. Short kick is too short. Mark to Gastev. Handballed away to Withers. Withers wide. No one home out there. Don't know what was happening there with Mark Withers, but...
They let themselves down, don't they, with their disposal a couple of times out of the back line. They've given the ball away to Bryce. And there again, kick out on the full under no pressure.
Dwyer, Romero and Stevens. Leslie for the Bears. Gibson's a chance. Handballs it along the boundary line. Well, if it was out of bounds, deliberate in the forward pocket not so long ago, that should have been penalised as well. But pretty hard to read some of the umpiring decisions as far as deliberate out of bounds is concerned. Boundary throw in between wing and half forward in North Melbourne's forward half. They went in with a score of 9-5 at half-time, and as Bernie said, they haven't had it yet. Dwyer to within scoring distance, Zanotti, but chipping in is O'Keefe, and he takes a good mark. And he's done pretty well since being moved back there. O'Keefe, no one home for the Bears, and the mark has been taken by Mark Hepburn. Round onto the left foot. Long kick. Nearly a North Melbourne mark there to Longmire. Carey. Kick across his body to the front of the square. Allison does a good spoil. Gastev goes back. Withers runs across the front of the square. Bain. Ball doesn't sit. Oh, unkind bounce. Good play by Scholl. Good play there by Wern. Richardson, handball. And they got out of it eventually. Gastev's kick outside 50. Nearly a mark to Fairley, but Reynoldsson swoops on it. He's a bit slow, but he gets his kick away. Up towards half forward. Hardy behind. Taps it away. Windsor's caught with a football. A kick off the ground came out from Smith. Reynoldsson again underneath it. Can't break away. Edwards throws himself out of the pack, and eventually North Melbourne forced the ball towards centre-half forward. Under pressure, O'Keefe. Smith and Allison. Good jump by Allison. Stevens into an open goal, and he misses. No, he doesn't.
McEwen's Big League Bargains are real winners. Supporters are screaming for more. Take 15% off Cosmic All Seasons heavy-duty rubber car mats, front $27.95 a pair, rear $16.95 a pair. Save 20% on Cosmic Sports Edition Deluxe carpet car mats, front $39.95 a pair, rear $19.95 a pair. Take 50% off French Knit Deluxe acrylic plush seat covers in silver grey, beige or blue, bucket seats $19.95 each, matching rear seats only $39.95 each. Don't fight over it. Get into McEwen's for Big League Bargains store-wide.
Because they're holding down costs, Ford dealers have been selling loads of cars every day. So they've had to sharpen their pencils to get rid of the trade-ins. Right now, participating Ford dealer associations are offering you $1,000 cash back on selected used EA and XF Falcons. That's right, $1,000 cash back in your hands on selected used EA and XF Falcons. But hurry down to your Ford dealer soon. He can't keep prices this low on used cars for long.
Hold your horses, honey. How about some of this oily stuff? I've got gallons of it. Black gold, Texas tea.
No, thanks. I like Kraft peanut butter. It's so easy to spread, and it's never dry or oily.
But all this could be yours! Stop! Now, kid, don't be rash, kid! No! Oh.
Kraft peanut butter. Smooth or crunchy, but never dry or oily.
How many lounges do you see in this ad? Just one. But by mixing and matching bases, backs and arms, you can make it any suite you want it to be. And for more than 10 years, we've been supplying the latest washable designer covers. And now, the luxury of leather or the look of casual cane. And a sofa bed, a brilliant idea. Just like our coffee table that converts to a dining table. Furniture that never goes out of fashion. From Innovator.
Patties, you're the perfect pie we all adore. Patties, we'll be waiting by the pantry door.
We'd like to thank you, Victoria, for making Patties our state's most successful independent pie maker.
Patties, patties are the pie we idolize.
$50,000 cash. That's $50,000. 4 Holden Barinas worth $54,300. So KZFM are giving away altogether $104,300. And you could easily be a winner by putting a KZFM sticker on your car. You'll find stickers at all 7-Eleven stores. KZFM will be stopping cars showing stickers. If you listen to KZFM, you could be a big, big winner. On KZFM.
So both teams adding just the one goal in the third quarter. At the final change, it was North Melbourne by 25 points. But the Bears come back. Let's go back to the G now, and we pick up play at the start of the final term.
Start of the final term at the MCG. North leading Brisbane 10-10 to 6-9. And North kicking to the scoreboard end. They kicked 8 goals in the second quarter at that end. Hardy in the centre at the moment. And after an uninspiring third quarter, let's see if North Melbourne can make a charge towards the final 5. Wern's kick around his body. Schwass.
Beautiful tackle.
Yeah, it was a good tackle. And he's been rewarded.
Well, normally
McCarthy.
that's just called play on, that. The tackle dispossesses the player.
That was good enough for a free kick, Robbo. Had to be paid.
So McIver from centre wing towards centre half forward. Roberts there. Martin's quick kick away. High one, take your pick, Brisbane. Edwards, Hardy from the centre square with a high ball to the goal square. And a comfortable mark to Bryce, who's one of North Melbourne's best players.
Yes, he's done well, Bryce, playing across that back line. Long kick out towards the outer side. Over the top, Stevens. Gibson does pretty well. Gives the handball to a player who couldn't possibly have been in a better position. Now Hart goes back underground and eventually comes to Hart again via McIver. And the kick is high in towards centre half forward, and a terrific mark taken by Fairley. The ball just wavering in the breeze, and Fairley judged it beautifully and kicks it wide towards the members' wing. Gastev held, getting clear. Chandler, he's caught though by Richardson, still there, rebounds off German, comes to Hardy from Richardson, outside 50, Hardy goes bang, and it's wide of the mark, out of bounds on the full. He's shaking his hands as if to say, who am I going to kick it to?
Well, a centering kick was required there, Robbo. That's what discipline's all about.
I think he had a good look, Bernie, but there wasn't much there.
Well, you just put it up high, Bruce, and let if there's no one there, let them contest and let the little men pick it up at ground level.
Fair comment. Bryce to half-back. Kappa not paid. Martin's free kick. Kappa, who was shifted to centre half forward late in the third quarter. Ian Robertson gave his statistics at that stage. It was 1-1-1. O'Keefe, who's been all right in defence after starting in the forward line. Ashcroft and Martin. Just nothing happening for Brisbane. They've kicked one goal since quarter time. And not a lot happening for North Melbourne after that flurry in the second quarter when they looked the final side. Other than that, they've looked very, very ordinary. Kappa going for that with Brayshaw. Schwass, torpedo punt, gets some distance, up to half forward. Stevens, who's been on the interchange bench for a lot of the game. Romero. Stevens just threw it out. No free kick paid. German gets about 30 metres, and McCarthy, who was taken off the ground in the third quarter, going for a mark with one hand. Longmire in the lead now. McCarthy chips it towards him. Zanotti keeps his position pretty well. Bain. Kennedy, who was at full forward last time I looked, kicks the ball to half-back. Dwyer. Hart with him. Still Dwyer. Richardson. See just how difficult it is for players to keep on their feet on that half-back area, and that one's against Hardy, and I reckon the North Melbourne fans will like that.
The free kick will go to Chandler. He's too far out to score, I would feel, and as Bernie Quinlan has suggested, the centering kick is the name of the game when you're in that position, and that's exactly what he did. But Bain gets back there to take the hand pass away and kicks it wide towards the centre wing area. Roberts beaten by Hepburn. Good persistence. Handball from McCarthy went to Brayshaw, and Brayshaw's short pass. Now the ball with Romero deep in the pocket. German was in that action as well. Schwass. Handball goes back to German into an open goal. Peter German kicks a great goal. I just got the feeling there, Bernie, that he threw that ball on his boot to do one of those screw kicks.
Well, it was a banana kick in the end, or a check side as they call them in South Australia, isn't it, Bruce?
That's what I've heard of, the old check side. Paul Roos kicked one yesterday at Waverley.
They're very effective, aren't they? When the angles are a little bit difficult to try and just get that ball around. And he did it very nicely, Peter German, in the finish to kick his first goal.
11-10, 6-9, and you just wonder if the floodgates might open here and North could get a run on. Let's see. From the centre. Centre half forward. A bit of courage shown there by Carey, going the wrong way. Kept his eye on the ball. McCarthy, he seemed to have all day to kick the ball to full forward. Longmire there, one hand. Allison, he's usually all right at these. Romero, another one. So they're up to 12. 12-10 to 6-9, and Romero gets his second.
The North Melbourne too consistent in the end, running out winners 13-12 to 7-12 over the Brisbane Bears. 8,310 fans at the cricket ground. And for the Kangaroos, 4 to Longmire, 2 each to McCarthy and Romero, singles to Sean Smith, Scholl, Stevens, German and Carey. And for the Bears, 2 to Bain, singles to Ashcroft, Kappa, Hardy, Reynoldson and Gastev.
Time now to check the CUB AFL Premiership Season League ladder.
And we have a new leader in the competition by one game, the Magpies over Essendon. 4 points clear of the Bombers. Next is the West Coast, another game away. Hawthorn on 40 points, trailing Melbourne also by a game in the 5. Carlton and Footscray just outside from North Melbourne and St Kilda with Geelong. And the Saints possibly finding it just a little bit hard now to get in. Next week, round 17. And some interesting matches set down for decision. The one on top of the ladder there, or top of the listing there, has most appeal possibly. Carlton and the West Coast Eagles at Princes Park. Geelong and North Melbourne, vital game for the Roos down at Cardinia Park. St Kilda plays host to Sydney. Good performance by the Swans today at the SCG, getting to within 5 points in the last quarter. Melbourne to tackle Fitzroy, and Essendon to clash with Richmond out at VFL Park. 2 games on Sunday to round out round 17. The Bears and Hawthorn up at Carrara, and then Footscray and Collingwood at the MCG. That match, of course, was originally scheduled for the Western Oval, but of course will now be played at the MCG, and I think we should get quite a crowd there. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage today on a rather cold day in Melbourne. 2 good football games, and hope you can join us next weekend. A very good afternoon to you all.
This has been a 7 Sport production for the Australian